It was just past midnight when the knock came. Soft, uncertain, the kind of knock that almost hoped to go unheard. I wasn't expecting anyone. Not at that hour. Not after all that had happened. The house was quiet, the lights newly dimmed, and I had just settled on the edge of the couch with a glass of water cooling in my hand, trying to steady the restlessness that often filled my nights. Then it came again, this time slightly louder, firmer, but still trembling with hesitation, like whoever stood on the other side was unsure if they truly wanted to be let in. When I opened the door, my breath caught in my throat. It was her, Emma. She stood beneath the muted porch light, wrapped tightly in a long coat, rain beating off her shoulders, her hair damp from a light drizzle that must have started a while ago. Her expression carried a fragile smile, one that barely held together the edges, the kind that glistened with unshed tears and crumbled the longer you looked at it. Her lips parted slightly, like 100 words had been rehearsed in her mind, but dissolved the moment she saw me. She didn't speak, not at first, just stood there, drenched in the hush of midnight and regret. I hadn't seen her in months, not since the day she left. She had made her choice and walked away without flinching, without even a backward glance. And I, despite everything inside me begging otherwise, let her. I didn't run after her. I didn't plead. As much as it shattered me, I knew then that if love needed to be chased down, then it had already left. I stayed quiet. I suffered in silence. Yet now, there she was, like a ghost made flesh again, standing at the doorway of a life she had once abandoned. I didn't ask why she had come. I couldn't. My voice sat heavy in my chest, too stunned to rise. Instead, I stepped aside without a word, and she entered with tentative steps, as if each one carried the weight of every choice she now regretted. Her coat clung to her like armor, and she made no move to remove it. Her eyes didn't scan the room, didn't acknowledge that everything was just as she had left it, untouched and waiting, like some foolish shrine to a love that had already expired. She finally turned to me, her gaze full of rain and sorrow, and whispered in a voice so fragile it nearly broke in air. I didn't know where else to go. I should have told her to leave right then. I should have reminded her that she had walked away months ago, trading our history for the illusion of something shinier, newer. I should have screamed every silent night back at her, the nights I sat by the door, waiting for a text that never came, for a key in a lock, for laughter in the hallway that never returned. I should have told her how many times I checked my phone just to make sure it hadn't died, how I fell asleep to memories because she gave me nothing else. But I said nothing. I watched her take another step toward me, the last of her smile fading completely. Her expression crumpled into something real, raw and trembling, stripped of all performance. She reached out, hesitating before her fingers could touch mine. I made a mistake, she whispered. I stared at her, the woman I had once wanted to build a future with, the woman I had imagined growing old beside, the one I would have bled for without thinking twice. And she had broken me not with cruelty or violence, but by simply walking away, quietly, without explanation, without checking to see if I was still breathing in the wreckage she left behind. You didn't just make a mistake, I said, my voice rough with months of silence. You chose someone else. You disappeared. You didn't even ask if I was okay. You left me to bleed alone. She flinched. My words cut deep, but she didn't argue. She didn't try to rewrite the story. She just stood there and let the truth crash over her. I thought I was choosing happiness, she said softly. But it turns out I walked away from the only place I was ever truly safe. There was a part of me, quiet but still alive, that wanted to pull her into my arms and erase everything, to pretend this was just a dream we could wake from and fix. But there was another part, colder, more honest, that remembered the silence she left me in, that remembered what it was like to feel invisible in the very place where I had once felt most seen. She brushed away a tear, her eyes never leaving mine. I'm not here to ask for anything. I know I don't deserve to come back. I just needed to see you one last time. I needed to know if I had ruined everything completely. I stood still, searching inside myself, for anger, for longing, for closure. But I didn't find any of those things clearly. What I did feel was a deep ache, not of loss, but of understanding. of seeing the truth laid bare between us with nothing left to hide behind. She turned, slowly, quietly, without protest. There was no dramatic plea, no desperate attempt to undo the past. She opened the door on her own, pausing only once to look back at me. That same fragile, heartbreaking smile from earlier hovered on her lips, uncertain and aching. And then, like before, she left. No slam of the door, no shouted goodbye. Just the quiet steps of someone who finally understood the weight of what they'd thrown away.